What's good, YouTube? It's your boy RJ, and today we are going to be watching Candace Owens clash with OnlyFans girls. So, from the looks of it, I have not watched the video yet. I've probably watched the first 30 seconds. But from the looks of it, it's about 5, 6 maybe OnlyFans girls going head up against Candace Owens. So that should tell you something about Candace Owens right off the bat. Let's get into the video.
Panel, please listen to everything that Candace says. You have a rare opportunity to see what a high-value woman is and learn from her as she's intelligent, respected, and accomplished. You can't justify and make excuses for your lifestyles. Anybody got a response to that one?
Thank you.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right.
I like my lifestyle.
I love my
Okay.
lifestyle.
I
and
could
what
change it at any
time.
time. Being in this industry, you don't run out of opportunities. Men are coming all the time. If I wanted to settle down with one of them, I think that could have happened. Yeah.
Wait, when you say men are coming to you all the time as clients, right?
Yeah.
And you said if you wanted to settle down with any of them, you could, but do you find the men who come to you attractive? Because I mean, I've heard from a lot of women who do OnlyFans, or even women who are exotic dancers, strippers, whatever, and women who do porn or even adult content, that the men that typically like are the fans or consume the content or come and see you, your clients, a lot of these women don't view these men, like just by virtue of them coming to you or by virtue of them subscribing to your OF, like that in and of itself makes them not a prospect for any like long-term relationship.
These are normal guys, and some of them are hot. So I'm a fitness competitor.
Okay, all right.
So she is equating her OnlyFans fans to guys that she could potentially settle down with. And I think that, I'm not sure the guy's name, but the guy that runs the whatever podcast, he made a great point. He said that from his understanding that a lot of the guys that subscribe to these girls' OnlyFans and are basically simping for them and paying them a monthly subscription to watch their content, from his understanding, these women usually aren't attracted to these guys. And what is the OnlyFans worker, right? What does she say? No, some of these guys are very hot. So first thing I think is, if they're so hot, then is that your only prerequisite to a guy that you would settle down with? Because in my opinion, if he is paying you to watch your OnlyFans content to a certain level and degree, you automatically don't have no respect for the guy, because obviously he doesn't make the best decisions with his money, right? And so if you're an OnlyFans girl and you are making a boatload of money, you're going to be looking at him sus if it's ever a point where he can intertwine with your money, because he's paying you with the money that he has to watch your content, right? There is already a power dynamic there that is unattractive to her off the muscle. It doesn't matter if he's attractive. But yeah, the fact that she said that, oh, some of these guys are attractive, that is irrelevant to the fact if you really want to settle down with your fans or not.
46 years old. I figured I was going to age out of the industry. What has happened? MILFs are all the thing. They're the cat's pajamas right now. So I'm getting a ton of...
Okay, yeah.
I'm getting a lot of youngins.
Did she say the cat's pajamas? What the hell does that mean? Lady, look at you. I can probably name out 2 or maybe even 3 body parts that have probably had cosmetic surgery and an operation on them. So you are going out your way to try to stretch out that youthful look as long as possible. Now, of course, she's she's an attractive lady, but that does not negate the fact that if you, which at 46, I doubt if she is still planning on trying to find a husband and get married. She could be, but I doubt that that's on her #1 list of priorities at 46. I'm sure she's probably grown comfortable with the way her life has turned out, and at this point she is capitalizing off the way her life has turned out. She's not married. I don't know if she has any kids, but since the fact that she's not married, she has the freedom to do OnlyFans if she wants to do OnlyFans. It's nothing wrong with doing OnlyFans. She has probably accepted the consequences that come with doing sex work on the internet, so more power to her. But at the same time, she still has a level of delusion in thinking that she could still get married whenever she wants to. First off, the guy is the one that asked the woman to marry him. So if a woman cannot convince a man to ask her to marry him, she won't get married. That's #1. #2, I'm sure she has a type. Even though she does sex work, I'm sure she has a type of guy that she is attracted to, right? So is this guy that you are attracted to, are you able to obtain him? Because she does OnlyFans and she's on this podcast, I would assume she has a certain level and degree of success on OnlyFans. So that means she's probably making a certain level of money. Obviously, if she's making a certain level, she will most likely, based on generals, that she would most likely want a guy that makes more money than her, right? So are the guys that make more money than you, ma'am, are they coming after you too? Just like these guys on your OnlyFans and subscribing, these simps, right? Pay very close attention. I want y'all to pay very close attention to the wordplay that a lot of these OnlyFans models use to validate their delusion. And then let's watch what Candace Owens does.
The
Coming,
youngins.
the youngins,
The youngins.
young gentlemen,
Really?
tons of
Okay.
them, and then fitness competitors, judges that judge in the circuits, and then they'll say, hey, you're looking good, or tighten this up. So there's a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of individuals now.
To meet them though, but I mean,
and
when
date,
it comes
and
to
date them,
but
and
when
they
it comes
come
to
back.
long-term commitment, I mean, I think
They want, I agree. What I encounter, and something what Candace said, is these guys, they are prideful. So once they start dating you, they do, in my experience, they do want you to maybe consider settling down. Now, I've done
Of
real
course.
estate. I was vice president of business growth at an active wealth management company during COVID. I have a master's degree. I can do different things.
what do you have a master's in?
Education. I
Okay,
got straight
got
A's.
it.
Yeah. So,
Nice.
and I taught for a while. So
Okay.
I come in and out. I'll go into white collared work, and then I'll go back into the industry because it's fun for me. I enjoy it, and
Look
it is
at
good money,
Candace's
and it's an
face.
adventure. I enjoy going out with these guys and being
Says
a
a
travel
thousand
companion
words.
and getting to go on vacations.
No, I
Candace?
just wanted to ask you,
Oh.
as the man sitting at this table, are you attracted to their lifestyles? Do you think men are attracted to their lifestyles? I'm just
Great
curious
question.
about your opinion, just to
Great
hear
question,
a
Candace.
I
male.
don't care.
Well, that's so rude.
No,
he
but
sat
I mean,
here and
good-
asked you your opinion
Oh,
about
No, I
everything.
said like good thing I don't care for
But I
what
didn't-
other male has to say about my industry though.
But
I'm
he's
just
been
saying.
asking you questions about what you think about men.
No, I'm gonna
He's been
listen to
asking you
him.
questions about your life, and the first thing when I
No,
ask one
he
question
can
to
say his
him,
question.
you
I'm
say
just
I
saying,
don't
like,
care. I just feel like that's
personally,
I'm very hurt.
Like-
I want to know.
Yeah, I just
demand
yeah,
an
but
apology.
why
How
interrupt
dare
that?
you.
Like when he asks you a question, what if someone said, "I don't care what she says"? I think that's just
No,
a little
like
rude.
I'm saying like because everybody's always out here. I see your faces that you're giving her and stuff like that. And I think
No,
it's funny.
I just am
And so I'm
saying
just
like I'm letting her
like,
talk, but I just wanted to hear his opinion on it. So I just was
ahead,
that like
Ryan.
a little bit of insecurity to just jump and say I don't care.
Can
because
Can I
did you
poach
think-
Candace from the Daily Wire?
Well,
I think I need
it
to
was
cut-
just a little rude.
Go ahead,
Like,
Ryan.
I need to
he's
cut-
let
I
you
need to
talk so
defend
much.
her.
We've all been letting people talk with different perspectives. So I just thought it was like suddenly he hasn't even said anything, and you've
there
already
was a
diminished.
few times where
What?
condescending
Okay, well,
look.
in
Yes.
any case,
So
in any case,
it's
so
okay.
I just want to hear
just
a male
continue, Ryan.
voice.
Now, notice how the young lady in the red automatically had to chime in soon as Candace gave the host the floor. He's usually the one asking the questions, and he'll usually challenge the answers of the ladies that are on the show. But Candace reversed it on him and was like, hey, let's lead with your answer. Let's lead the conversation with a man's perspective, because we are asking these ladies, do we think that their industry or their work or their lifestyle will affect the way that a man sees them? And so far the answer is no. So far the answer is, well, if I wanted a man, then I am around all these guys and I have the opportunity. That was not the question. So kudos to you, Candace, for pushing back on obviously the insecure lady who knows that her work devalues her a little bit, if not a lot of it, just depending on who you're talking to, devalues her to a certain degree in the dating marketplace.
Like we've been all talking
okay,
about our
I'm
opinions.
trying to let Brian continue, and you're still talking.
Okay.
a little bit
So
of insecurity coming out over there. Not sure where it's coming from, but go on.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, do I have your permission? Is it okay? Is it okay? Okay, cool. So sorry, can you just repeat the question one more
Yeah,
time?
I was just saying like it's interesting because we're all women and we're giving different perspectives and the female perspective on this topic. When you hear what she just said about sex work and how she feels about sex work, or you hear what she's saying, or you hear what she's saying, what is your honest opinion as a man? Because what we're trying to get to, I think the nucleus of is, high value women, high value men, what creates that, how men respond to that, and we have the opportunity to hear a man. I don't know.
I mean, I personally would not date a woman who is involved in sex work in any of its various manifestations.
Very understandable.
It's kind of, I'm not really like a hater if people want to do that sort of thing. When on a societal level, I don't know if it's the best thing, but I'm kind of like, hey, whatever, go do your thing. But as far as my own personal preferences, standards, and boundaries when it comes to a relationship, I don't foresee myself wanting to get involved with someone who does sex work.
And why do you think that is? I think most men would agree with you. I think,
Candace
and
knows
I think that makes sense to me. But why is that? Because I think it's just interesting to hear a male perspective. That's all.
Sure. I mean, well, kind of going back to there being different levels to it. So I mean,
hey, real quick, Candace about that smoke. Candace want all the smoke. She really could run laps around every single girl at the table.
if she's a prostitute or was a prostitute, I mean, it's kind of, I feel like that's just common sense. Like, I wouldn't, no offense, I just wouldn't date a woman who's a prostitute.
I'm not offended, like I said.
And probably they wouldn't want to date me. I don't know. It's fine. It's cool.
So you have to acknowledge the fact that you're not offended. That's what people do when they are offended, right? And if not even offended, we're not even going to say that. If not even offended, then embarrassed. You're throwing out the distraction by saying, I'm not offended, because you want people to perceive you as you not being offended. But deep down inside, you are definitely offended. And it's not even so much you're offended by what he's saying. You're embarrassed by the reality of your decisions. You're embarrassed by the fact that guys are not going to look at you the same. And I know for a fact, if she is an OnlyFans girl, I know for a fact she has dated a guy and it was an issue for him. Even if he didn't speak about it in the beginning, at some point or another, it became an issue for him. So those memories, those experiences are coming out when she says, I'm not offended, right? It's her defense mechanism. It's a coping mechanism. Let's continue.
But yeah, I wouldn't, no, if you're, because I would want, monogamy, I'd want loyalty, and even though it's for work and they're just doing it for money, my view of sex is not, I don't think you can, well, people do, but I don't think you ought to detach intimacy from sex. And people who engage in a lot of casual sex or people who do it for work, you've essentially just detached intimacy from sex. So definitely not a prostitute. I mean, not a stripper, not a OnlyFans, no.
I feel like that was just like an unnecessarily long way to answer. Like, no dude's gonna want to date a hooker. I don't know. It's like, I don't think it's.
Come on now.
That.
Yeah, and
You see how triggered they're getting. You're mad because he's explaining his reasoning. You explained why you feel the way you feel, but when a man tells you something that contradicts how you feel and it contradicts your delusion, you feel like it's too drawn out of it. And you know why they feel that way? Because they know that their work has this effect on men. They just don't want to accept it, right? They just don't want to accept it. But one day, regardless if they choose to accept it the day that they film that podcast, or they choose to accept it 20, 30, 40 years down the line. With the day and age that we live in now where stuff stays on the internet forever, right? They will eventually come to a realization that, damn, I missed out on a couple good guys because of the work I chose to do.
I said I don't care because it's like, and you're like, no, don't take offense. Like, I'm not going to take offense to something I don't care about. That's why I'm like.
No, it's just a preempt.
And you stated, you were like, and you looked at me and you said, and don't take offense. Like, baby, I'm not offended by any means. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay.
That's
I'm
totally
not
fine.
looking for a
I'm not,
high-end
I'm not,
relationship right now.
I'm not trying to offend you. She was just asking me.
Yeah, I literally was just
my
asking a
stance.
question.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Had nothing
Yeah.
to do with you, girl.
Yeah, earlier I was like talked about like promiscuity. Like, I'm assuming you guys believe like promiscuity is like bad or shouldn't be encouraged in society. I was wondering what specific factors do you think encourage it most? Do you believe it's like media? Do you think like birth control has anything to do with it? Do you believe like, I want to know what your top factors of promiscuity are, what you believe it is.
Yeah, so I would say number one contributor is culture and the education system. So
Big
I remember
facts.
when I was left leaning, a lot of my ideas came from the school system and just what you're talking about, Planned Parenthood in the classroom. That effort began in the 70s. The majority of high schoolers were graduating with their virginity intact in the 70s before they started teaching health class, which was teaching people that everybody's doing it, and actually they weren't. And within 1 decade, it completely flipped, and the majority of teens were now graduating having lost their virginity. So we ceded a lot of that to the education system, which when parents had more control over their children, what was happening in the classroom was based on arithmetic and not cultural issues, and focusing on engineering children to think that sex is this positive, it's you just do it, everybody's doing it, doesn't matter if you have multiple partners. You combine that with feminism in the classroom. I was forced in college to take a Feminism 101 course, and they kind of made you think that,
Beaten Cheeks donated $200. Candace, please tell these women their past promiscuous matters to be with a decent guy that will not be beta males. SC, that was just a friend, we still on relax. Just answer my text and
Shout out to the Whatever Podcast. Candace hit some very, very, very key points. Very key points, and I just want to highlight a couple. First, she hit that the fact that the feminism movement was paired up with Planned Parenthood in the classroom, meaning that you're showing women a way to have sex with no repercussions. And you pair that with feminism, and you pair feminism with sexual liberty, then you get women who do not care or do not feel the consequences or think about the consequences of sleeping with any guy. Back in the day, women would only sleep with their husband. And if they weren't just sleeping with their husband, they would sleep with a guy that they wanted to spend the rest of their life with or planned on spending the rest of their life with. Now, at times, a lot of these women out here are having sex with these guys just because they horny. Soon as they get horny or a guy looks a certain type of way and it moves them emotionally, they automatically want to jump in bed with dude, not knowing nothing about him, don't know how he gonna treat you, don't know if he got kids, don't know how he treat his kids, right? And that leads them down a path where they end up getting hurt, they end up getting emotionally damaged, they might even get physically abused, but they're moving off their hormones, they're moving off their emotions, and they're not thinking about the consequences. And this is where we are today. A lot of women have terrible, poor selection process, and we see it with the high rate of single mother households and the high rate of lack of father being in kids' lives, especially in the Black community. But let me know down below, do you guys agree with Candace Owens? Do you guys agree with the OnlyFans girls? I'm very curious to see you guys' opinions. You guys been leaving some pretty dope comments in my previous video, so let's start a discussion down below. Go ahead and smash that like button for your boy and smash that subscribe button. When you do that, make sure you click that bell notification button so you're notified when I drop these banger videos. Go ahead and give a brother the HBO special, help a brother out special, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one. Deuces, YouTube.